There. Happy Friday, everyone. Happy Venus Friday. Hi, everyone. Hi, Doreen. Hi, Anne. Thank you so much for joining us. Hello.
Good morning, Doreen. Good morning,
Good morning. Happy Venus Friday. Hello, Fair Bianca. Thank you so much for joining. What tea are you having today? Tell us.
What did you make today?
Let's see what. Can you see? It's very different.
Matcha?
Matcha green tea with almond milk today. That's what I made with a little bit of, it's with foam. What, is it strong? Is it very strong? What, tell me.
It's interesting.
Okay, talk to me. It's a little, okay, throw about tea.
A little bitter.
It is, because I didn't, you can't stir it. I did put agave in it. Huh? Michael, communicate. This is all about speaking your truth. Hi, Lisa. Hi, sweetie.
I'm trying to get a flavor for it. It's maybe it needs a little more
honey,
or what did you put in it?
Just agave. So today I made matcha tea from scratch, and then put some. We have a foamer thing, this Italian foamer thing, and with almond milk that naturally makes it, and cashew almond.
Okay.
And I put very little agave in it.
Yeah.
Okay, how about maybe stirring it, Michael? Maybe it's all about, be truthful. If you don't like it, you don't like it.
No, I like it. I'm you know how your palate is getting used to the taste?
Yeah. It is a little bitter.
Yeah.
Maybe I made it too strong. It's
make
very
it strong?
Yeah.
Nah.
Hi, Maria. So good to see you. Hi, everyone. Wow, we're so happy to have you. What tea are you drinking? So let's see. No tea, Doreen, no tea. No tea. Okay, that's okay. Matcha with honey. Okay, that's what you're having. Oh, you're having matcha with honey too.
She's saying matcha with honey.
That's what she's having.
No, that's what we're having. She's making that,
right.
that little joke, matcha with honey.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
It's a 3D.
Yeah. Hi, Maria. Your PA dance network there. I really wish one of these days to see that dance that you provide. Just really, your drum is in our wall right back here. So you're always in our apartment right here. So thank you so much. Hello. Is that Tara? Thank you, Tara. Thank you. Happy Friday. Thank you for joining us. Oh my goodness. How you all doing? Let us just bless this today.
Oh, actually, she is drinking matcha with honey.
She is drinking.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
So she's having what we're having.
What you're having. Thank you, Anne. Thank you. For some reason, I thought it could have been a little sarcastic, matcha with honey.
This Michael is in this space of sarcasm. I feel it's a masculine energy that's washing off. This is going to tie into everything we're going to talk about. It's just much. She's saying much of it. What?
Okay.
She's
responding. I don't know if it's
sarcasm.
I think it's my head and my stomach that I'm going
through right now. Head and stomach.
Now.
A lot of stuff happening. So funny. Okay, good. Yeah, it is strong. So my goodness, let us just allow this portal of this conversation today. Be really blessed by the highest light. We've already done our prayer today, and I'm sure most of you already have as well. There's just a lot to talk about. Today, I actually made 3 things that I really want to go over and really want to hear from you, because I feel there's just so much to talk about this month of March with 4 major StarGates.
One going into tomorrow.
One is tomorrow. By the way, for those of you that are joining in tomorrow, I'm going to be on Todd Medina's show at 3 p.m. Eastern for this last 333 StarGate, the closure of this crystalline Yeshua energy. And I'm going to do a live transmission with sound, with light language and codes of light. So if you join in, we'll be live together with Todd tomorrow. It will be me. Michael is facilitating healing session at Rise Wellbeing Center, so he won't be there. So post-equinox, pre-equinox, super full moon, this Mercury was quite something else. And
yay, Mercury's at a retrograde.
It's it's out.
Thank gosh for clear, better communication. I sure know I'm learning quite a bit about that.
Communication. It's so interesting. So for years, I have not really given my attention to Mercury because I feel like on a collective agreement, there's been so much around Mercury when it goes to retrograde. And there's been like people just already going into fear because Mercury is going to retrograde, and then just really tapping into the shadow aspect of Mercury, where there's quite a bit of light that also gives the opportunity for clearer communication. But most people get caught in the shadow aspect of it. So for years, I've never really paid attention to it. I just refused to give my attention to that. But I really did take notice of it in March, and I really saw there's still the collective that is clearing. There's a lot happening with this particular month. This triple energy, the divine mother, divine father, and the divine child, the Holy Spirit, that all the mind, body, spirit coming together. All of this coming together. Month of March in the year of 3. So this 3 energy, the synergy of it, the synchronicities of it, all of it coming, that has to do with all these timelines that are all kind of like falling apart because they're falling into place. So it's been quite a bit, and we kind of want to hear from you because we have a lot to share ourselves, what we have been going through personally ourselves. And we had quite a bit of a not difficult week, but just a lot of pain that moved through. So we'll discuss that because we feel it's important to share. So you see us like this, and it's important for you to really see a lot of the posts that I've been sharing has been very deep. It's always very deep, but because as a result of what we've been experiencing.
And it's very important to know that as we experience it, so does the collective, and so do you guys. And so it's very helpful as you share what's happening and what's going on within your personal life, what thoughts, what emotions, what are happening. Because the one thing that I really appreciate about Honey and this opening is to really give a raw, clear, true, authentic level of what's happening within us, what's happening within the collective, because we know we're all moving through this, and it can be pretty intense out there. Things can move very
out there and in here.
Out there and in there.
Yeah.
And in here. And sometimes we can feel very alone when we go through it because it's just, it can be chaotic. We may not understand it. And there's just a lot of things that still continually are coming up to be cleared. We know that, in this spring equinox, in this Persian New Year, in this full moon, in the gateways, that there is so much within us that if that debris has not been recognized, if the things are still hiding within us, they're continually coming up. They're continually being brought forward, and it's not even a choice anymore. It's more or less here it comes, and we work with it. And I know a lot of times in this 3D, sometimes we don't really accept pain or feeling this sense of discomfort in a way with love as we can accept other areas of comfort with love. And I feel that's one of the biggest areas that we're all learning to go through is to bring this love to the areas that really are painful, the areas that have stayed deep within us, and to see, how those arise and what we can do within our own power, because everything that we've signed up for is now happening. And I believe, and I really feel it's really happening at a fast, accelerated. It's no longer like sit back. It's like, hold on, get ready, because it's coming, and it's coming full force effect right now.
So it's we kind of want to like get around this to really talk about the ascension energies, and especially entering this photonic space, which will be over 2,000 years. Many of us are not going to be obviously in these bodies, but we're in the forefront going through this photonic belt where we're getting blasted by the photonic rays. And 2 weeks ago, we did talk about the plasma rays, what's happening in the body. So I'm going to tie all of this into the light codes and what that is. And these living codes of light in which we are being sort of like forced into embracing within ourselves, because it is from the place of in total truth, meeting a place within and without in total truthfulness. So there's nothing you can hide from yourself. There's nothing we can hide from another. There's nothing we can hide, because we're all being seen by the seer that is within, and the eye of us, the eye of that sees all anyway. So we kind of like tapped into the center of that place, and this photonic plasma rays are so filled with light, so everything is revealed, everything is seen, and you just cannot hold it back. You can't hide it, and one way or another is going to be shown. And particularly it ties into all these energies of motions of the past that have stirred up. We're back in the circling vibration of the universal forces within us. So as a result, there's a spinning energy of the water within us that's like moving, because all the area is clearing. Our inner waters, we've spoken a lot about this, is clearing, which ties into the sacred divine feminine, which ties into the voice of this sacred divine feminine, the voice of that galactic center. Stella and I were talking about this, which ties into the true Holy Grail. We're becoming the Holy Grail. That's been the quest. And once you become it, you only voice it. You can no longer hide it. So it requires a lot of strength, courage to communicate all these energies that have been brought into motion.
And what's interesting, I love what you said about the water, because even when we look at the month of March, and even the sign of Pisces, and with Pisces being a water sign, and really seeing what is washing away, what's coming up to be really clear, because it's been powerful to see in our past, and a lot of us, we our mind may get caught in this level of like, well, I've already cleared my past, I've already been through this, and it's very easy. It's almost kind of like that skip, that way of being like, well, no, everything's all right because I've cleared it.
But
I've
you
done
have,
the inner healing.
but people actually have.
Yeah. But yet,
it's not that they haven't.
They haven't. It's just sometimes the mind wants to give the opportunity, and what that has already been done to the capability of where we're at that level of consciousness. I feel as we raise ourselves in our consciousness, in our vibration, then there is even deeper layers, deeper wounds that we may have not been able to see at that certain point, which was all right.
Because of the photonic rays. Now they're bringing even deeper.
Exactly.
They're shining even more light in the hidden areas.
Right. And I find when these hidden areas come, what's so interesting is they're quite powerful, because they've been hidden so deep. And sometimes what Honey really expresses, it's, in the past, it's sometimes been a very heavy energy, or something very charged. And what I recognize, and we've been having these deep conversations this week, is it's almost a subtle energy, something that's so small, something that's so little, but yet when it comes up, it brings forth everything that's been attached to it. So I love how this,
because it still has the same impact.
Right.
It can be this tiny, like a dust.
Right.
It's not even like a, let's say, wood size.
Right.
It still has the same impact, because the energy behind it is still very heavy.
Right.
Yeah.
And what I find is,
let's say, wait 1 second. Hi, David. Hi, Christina.
Good to see you,
so
Christina.
Good to see
you, David. Thank you for joining. We've been talking about just what's been moving through, and just one thing that just to hold this space, because I know there was a comment about self-worth, self-love, that, us sensitive beings and what we've signed up for, obviously what's coming through, we are the forerunners, because we are the ones receiving it first. And many times as it comes through, because we've signed up for the service that we do, the healing that we do, or just the consciousness that we're at right now, a lot of times as it comes through, we see it hit us in such magnitudes. And in those magnitudes, I really feel it gives us the opportunity to fully marinate in that so that we can experience it, we can feel it, we can share it, we can teach it, we can lead by it, but most important, we can embody it. Because
it's hitting, the blast is hitting all of our bodies.
Right.
Before we were just noticing this,
Right.
but now all the other bodies are present, listening, watching, witness. So when it hits all of it. That's why the impact is like that.
And it was interesting because this morning I woke up and I had a stomach ache, and
he's been having a lot of that through
like the stomach and head, and just watching it, not really getting caught up into it. And I said, honey, can't we go through these ascension, stages without the solar flares, without all these big impacts, without affecting our body? And I loved what honey said. It says, well, when we accept it, when we allow it, and really when we surrender to it, it doesn't have to hold us to it. Even like right now, as I'm sitting with honey and talking to her, just 5 minutes ago, I was lying on the bed, putting my hand on my solar plexus and my other hand and my crystal right here on my forehead, and just working with energy. But as this energy is moving through, and as we're talking, as we're expressing, the symptoms and what I'm feeling is getting less and less, because I'm feeling this sense of relief because it's being expressed, it's being acknowledged.
Like the spasm in my back, I've had the spasm right in the back of my heart on this right side, like right by my spine for several days, like impacting breathing, really impacting breathing. And it's like, it's been so interesting. I feel these rings inside, and it tightens up. And so, Michael just put some needles, acupuncture needles back, so I can just breathe into it and just allow it to move. And I'm fully aware that discomfort has to do what's moving through my bodies. And there's been so many ascension symptoms, and I feel so many of you have been having, between the pressure in the head, the severe thirst, lack of sleep, blurry vision, body aches, the exhaustion, and plus so much more, and very, very emotional. Again, all of this is part of these blasts of these rays of light coming, going into these areas that are lightening up inside, so that we can voice them, we can communicate them, we can transform the energy inside of us. Which this brings me to a very important point that I put note here to say. I've heard, and I had a client that also said this, like in a Facebook message sent me, said, I don't want to seek any healing session because I don't want to give my power away. And I really wanted to address this just quickly, because for example, this week I went for a deep tissue massage with this at this place that we go. They're from China. They're just straight. They know how to work with the body, and it was great. But it didn't get to the place it needed to get to in my body, because my physical body was just in a lot of pain. So Michael did deep tissue, which we'll talk about what happened. I just want to put that on hold for a second. But the thing is, I can't work on my own body. So for me to have this idea that, I won't go to somebody because it's going to give my power away, this is a very fear-based consciousness, because anything, it's an old programming. If anything, this is a time we need each other more. Some of us, like, for example, I can't do the deep tissue, but I can do the light code, and I can assist you just like this 1 hour session done. Michael can get in there, do what he can. So to deny that from you because you think you're giving your power away, that is a totally disempowering victim energy. If anything, if you're going through the body aches and in your ascension symptoms are strained, please love yourself enough. Schedule a good 2 hour and a half massage. Go pay that money. Tell the universe, I'm so loved. Be taken care of. You're not leaking your energy or anything. If anything, you're going to tap more into your greater energy, because if you're going through the bodily ache is moving, the emotional body is in movement. You need the physical and sort of like not manipulation, but the physical movement for it to come out of your body. And that's the gift of it. So I just wanted to add just that because I felt that was very important. Then we're going to talk
Sure.
about what happened. with
And
you.
I'm glad you mentioned that because I do realize it is very important, as Honey are both healers, and it's very important to feel comfortable with the healers, with the practitioners,
Yes.
and the energy specialists we work with. At the same time, we also have to understand the level of trust we have for ourselves and what's being moved through, because in that fear, sometimes there's this mechanism where we have this trust issue. We feel that if I go to this person, they may do something wrong. They may do something bad. It's the level of it is based in fear, but the reaction of it really, which I see in a large component that's moving through this 3D, this moment right now in the world, is this trust issue, this doubt, this I don't know if this person's going to. We all know when we have that gut feeling that our body is going through something, how important it is to really honor it, to really give the permission to love it and to respect it. And I feel sometimes because there is that fear, because there's that pain, because there's that lack of trust and doubt, we're not actually recognizing it and giving the energy that we could.
A lack of abundance is in that place too. It's like I'm not going to go spend that money on me, right? Because I don't have the fun to do it. Whereas that's blocking the energy within even more. Giving yourself the assistance. We're all in this together. And we don't have all the answers. Not one person can do all the healing work.
And it's what's interesting with that trust, just to finish this topic real quick, is also to see where in that body is this inner trust. Thank you, David. Thank you, Tara, for speaking about the inner trust, because that inner trust, when we look at our solar plexus, when we look at our confidence, when we look at our courage, when we look at our faith and hope, this fire right here, when we're operating in a sense, which I know my belly's been going through a lot of just the emotional cleansing and clearing, sometimes there's such a blockage just within our solar plexus, our dantian, our higher, our areas that hold so much that we really have to go within ourselves and see, is it really that I'm not wanting to go, or I'm fearing to go, or maybe I'm just not trusting because there's a lack of trust within me that's stirring this domino effect of not going. And from Honey, what we see in each other when we help, it's so powerful when there are hands-on healing. And that's one thing Honey really, spoke to me about the other night, which we'll go into details, is yes, we work on many multidimensional planes, and it's beautiful to go all the way up. But we also have to recognize that in this 3D body, in this human, in these cells, in these skins, we have to love it just as deeply as we love all the other dimensions and aspects of ourselves. Because if we're not placing that energy within ourselves to help release it, it's just more stagnation building up. And we want to be in a state of flow. We want to be in a state of constant just ease and allow ourselves to move with it. And I'm glad that, David, you spoke about inner trust, because that's one area that I feel the more we can strengthen that trust, the more we can dissipate the fear that blocks us from the beauty of receiving. And when we receive these beautiful hands-on healing, then it opens up and lessens our mental, our emotional, and all the areas that are holding. So
thank you. So we're gonna speak of this. Let's just for a second catch up in here for a second. So here, Michael, let's go ahead and just say hello, Lisa, because I asked how's everybody doing.
So we'll start. So thank you, Lisa. Lots of past has been clearing, pain, discomfort, sadness, everything within the shadows has been rolling. I completely agree with you, sister. Thank you, Doreen. 3D consciousness blew up at me, reflecting for me all my areas of lack of worth.
Yeah,
thank you.
That's a big one. We're going to speak of that.
That's a huge one.
That was something I also.
Thank you, David, for your beautiful compliments. We really feel with you in the sense of how you can really recognize what is being said. The energies are ramping up, coming in faster and higher. I find myself sleeping more, giving my physical vessel more love, the opportunity to assimilate the frequencies. Real quickly, I know that a lot of times we feel exhausted, we feel tired. it's so important to give that rest and honor to the body, even if we're not sleeping during the day, to find small little naps in between.
Yeah, I've been napping every day. I'm like, Michael, I'm out. And I go about 5 minutes, but I go so far because my physical body just need this reset to work with these rays and just give it the rest. Because as soon as the eyes get sleepy, it's a communication. Go lay down, get horizontal with Mother Earth's plane so that you can receive what you need in the resetting. And I always feel like I'm being reset.
And to get out there in Mother Earth right now with the spring equinox in our part of the world, to connect with nature, to help even allow nature to fully ground us and unite us so we can feel that balance. Farah, yes, everything that hasn't been fully cleared is having a light shine on it. Definitely agree. It's coming up fiercely to see it and to release it. Completely agree. We are feeling it right now and going through it. David, the waves of energy are vibrating the internal cells. Completely recognize that. Releasing all that is internal and on collective levels. Completely agree. I've been drinking lots of water, peppermint tea. Thank you. Peppermint tea, ginger tea, water. Of course, the hydration factor is at its most important level right now.
And silica, very, very important. We have the diamond drops of the silica in our water. Michael, I don't know if you want to show it, our water thing. We have a piece of eucalyptus branch in it, and we put the things in it with love notes on our water thing, so we constantly drink. You have to get really flush all of these out.
Akila,
that's Sandhya.
Sanya. Okay. Wow, this is coming up so many times. Massage, spirit nudging. And just one aspect real quickly with the massage, not only for a physical note, but just for a sense of comfort. So many times we just miss the physical touch in general. So to allow that touch, it really goes a deeper level. So highly recommend. For growing up as a massage.
Deep tissue massage. Get in there, start breathing, and let things move, because it has to physically move out of your body.
Okay. The dragons have been working on my solar plexus for week 1.
Excellent.
We recognize the dragons. Optimistically cynical. I recently lost my 2-year-old son to a choking accident. We were listening to oldies, and I thought his mom said, "Put another dime in the juice box, baby." Wow. So, first of all, optimistically.
Wow. So, our heart goes out to you. The first thing I'm receiving is this sacred soul. Really, if I may share, so the sacred soul knew to right away be on the other side and assist. Our loved ones know right away what frequencies these are. If you step back, we can observe it differently. The contracts are very interesting. The soul agreements coming in and going, and how they're doing it, and the voice of truth talking is an ability to speak that. So please tune in to speak your truth. There's a direct communication in that. Our heart really goes out. Thank you for being with us.
And to just one more thing I say about this is a very powerful time for you just to listen and to feel the energies around you that are bringing this huge transformation, because as we know, all souls have contracts, and as hard as it may seem of how little this beautiful soul was here for a short time, also know this is allowing you to grow and to complete the contracts that were of previous lifetimes, so you can move through this with the grace and to allow what is coming through in your grief, sadness, pain, blame, all the energies that come up, just to give permission to tell yourself it's okay to feel that, and know that it's so important to bring the support, the highest healing support, and just giving yourself the opportunity just to be in the acceptance, no matter how hard it is, just to allow it in the time in your grieving. And our hearts, our blessings, and our prayers go out for you, because it's words can't even describe what it is to lose one, especially a son, before we transcend in our own ages. So we just hold the highest light for you, hold the highest love, and just trust for the highest good of all that divine intervention is coming in to bring forth your energies to the highest level. So blessings.
So Doreen says, okay, thank you, Doreen. Hi, Tanya. Thank you for joining.
Tanya, all old beliefs and lack of abundance popping up, shifting it today, release more and more of density as things have come up. I completely feel you, sister. The lack is making its way really through all levels. The lack of self-worth, the lack of everything we can think within ourselves that touches us has been coming forward in that.
Yeah.
Yes, I also do walking meditation in my backyard, barefoot in the grass. Great. Connecting to Mother Nature couldn't be a better way to do it, especially where you're located, my dear. Lots of light wave early this week. High felt so amazing. Then it cleared out of a bunch of crap. Lots of water, not hungry at all. That's a big level.
That's a big one.
Resting your belly and clearing toxins out of your body just by giving the opportunity not to eat could be one of the best things. I know this past week I've been eating less and less and less so that my solar plexus just could be cleared and then bring more fluids.
Yes.
So sometimes it may seem strange, especially from nutrition concepts, but to let go of how heavy we eat. Honey and I, we typically have 2 meals a day, trying to focus on our last meal before late afternoon or maybe even early evening so that it gives the full digestion, so it doesn't have these heavy foods digesting through the night. Tara, lots of healing work from the dragons for me this week. A very large, deep, brunt red color came in and covered me in horrifying, amazing, wonderful dragons.
I mean, they're just constantly around us. The team of dragons working with so many of us, and they're a huge part of healing through their sacred flames.
So call upon, and we know that the dragons are here to be called upon to really bring them in, especially when you can bring their flames in. This week I did a very powerful meditation where I brought the flames into me, especially working on my solar plexus that help out. Oh, beautiful sunshine love. We always love your support. We always love all your energy. Welcome. Thank you for being here. It's okay if you missed the first 30 minutes because we just are overviewing and we were going to go deeper. So thank you, beautiful dear heart, for joining us.
So before we go further, I want to first announce that one of our sacred family members here on our Facebook page, Sakon Ra, he's out of coma. He was in 2 weeks ago. If you were with us, we did a group prayer for him, and we've been on a Facebook Messenger group with Solara and his mother and many others in holding the vision of light for him, whatever his agreement was, whether he's going to stay on earth or crossing over. And we received the great news that he was returned after about a month into his body. And yesterday he left home and he's been in communication. So we just want to extend so much love to him because it was so amazing that during this window he was in coma. And we know he has incredible freaking insights to share with us from the other side now that he's sent back to his body, and he's going to be even stronger. And, he's in physical therapy, getting himself really back into, just being in his body. So second round, we love you. We're so happy. From the human perspective, we're so happy you're back. And we do look very much forward to all the insights that have been just given to you, and from that lens you will be sharing here on earth. And we knew you working at a much higher plane. Just during this part, your physical body had to stay here and you had to be on the other side, and now you return. So we look forward to it.
One other comment from Pierre Blanca: the Arcturian High Council came to speak into me. The Arcturians have been working on me every night when I go to bed.
Yeah.
That's very powerful. Beautiful for sharing that. Thank you for sharing that, because it gives all of us the opportunity to not only receive it, but to call on those, especially at night. I know when Honey and I, we wake up in the mornings or there's things that have been happening, there's a lot of activity happening at night. So thank you for sharing that. That gives a lot of people the energies and just the ability to receive when we feel that we're not in this body, but to allow it when it comes forth. Thank you for sharing that.
So with the ascension energies this month, it's been very, very intense on so many levels. So I want to sort of shift this for a moment to really get personal with you, just briefly regarding us, because Michael and I, Earth Service, we're public people, and we're in the, we're here, we are in a divine relationship, and so within this space, in order for us to really bring the divinity through, there's so many things that we within ourselves, and each of us are doing it anyway. But when we're in a relation, we're sharing a space. And for us, we live together, teach together, we do healing. I mean, there's just so much, everything is together. So in any relationship, when you're together for quite a while, I mean,
In that amount of time,
and
in that
all kinds of
amount
stuff
time and
happen
space.
anyway. So within this, we have this on top of service and traveling and this and that. Then I have my children and, what's happening with my personality, Michael is happening, like all of this stuff dynamic. There's so many multidimensional dynamic from this plane and then the higher plane and timelines and what have you. So it's very interesting because this past week, we had been for coming into the equinox, because I am in this incarnation, I was born in Iran, and the Iranian New Year's, which is the spring equinox, has a lot of personally, I don't really have attachment to the Persian culture at all. The spring equinox, I have so much value and appreciation. Part of it has to do with around my grandmother, who's very close to me, and also this thing that was passing off from her. My mother didn't celebrate at all, so I do it, but from a place of more like the Zoroastrian time, from like 5,000-6,000 years ago, and really appreciating Earth, the matriarchal energy of that. They were most people don't know, they were very much about they were pagans, they were folk medicine people. Everything was about nature. So the Persian New Year is around that, and then we take a long time, about 30 days before the equinox, to start clearing. So I recognize the gift of it from where I am in my spirit alignment, and what the value is, and also sharing all of that with my children. So Michael being in my life this past 2.5 years, this was the third one in which we were celebrating. So we did, and I posted it, we've been clearing a lot, clearing closet, clearing clothes out, clearing every dust, all of that, just to clear things, so we really welcome this spring energy and all that we have worked through the winter, and evaluation, what is in alignment, what is not alignment, and the ability to let go. So that's what that spring energy does, to release and let go, to get rid of clothes, get rid of things that are not vibrationally aligned. Clear the dust is a huge one. So I like a very clear space, because I reside in a diamond template, and my diamond has to be very clear, in which means any energies, emotion that come in, I have to speak it, communicate it, because I can't hold it inside. It makes me feel awful or make me feel sick. So we even the day before equinox, super full moon, we took 3 hours in this tiny little kitchen, cleared every cabinet, every freaking, like going through all of them, throwing things out, and like clearing just everything organized, whatever dish was out of alignment. And it's kind of like pretty hardcore.
Yeah, scrubbing floors,
Scrubbing
like you've never scrubbed,
floors,
scrubbing tubs,
like scrubbing, like
energies that...
I mean, all of this. So Michael and I were in this, and I was so looking forward to it, the day of the equinox, because my family was coming over, my sons, and we would get to celebrate. And this was the first time we had Michael's mother join us, and then going to my mother's house to celebrate, to have the traditional dinner. So for me, it's just, I'm just in this joy and bliss and all of this. And in the morning, when we came, I was just so happy. I saw the sunrise. That was just one of the most incredible sunrise, with like a red sky. So incredible. And then I saw Michael had posted something about spring equinox, but he had left out everything else. He had left out the super full moon, the 3 StarGate, the spring equinox, the Persian New Year, and the family, and what we're doing. Everything, it means a lot to him. Just this general thing he'd put out. So that's the first thing I see, and I was just so shocked and surprised. And what this did was, it opened this space of me really speaking to the disappointment that I felt. Not that I had any expectation. I never asked him, but he'd been equally taking part in creating this energy, this space in which there are all these new insights for us that we are co-creating together as a divine union couple. And for me, when I saw that, I saw, wow, there's like a flat out denial of himself, of me, of the family, of everything. Like what's going on here? And I really had to speak to that. So I had to speak to. So, and usually when I bring it up, Marco is more first defensive, or he tries to smooth his way or talk out of it because he's surprised what happened, because for him it was just so innocent and it wasn't intentional. And then for me, I get to the core of it, like what's going on, because I see a disconnected energy. And so that opened a door for us 1 week to speak so deep, so core, and for me to communicate things that are sitting in my heart, in my bag, and for us to say, if this is a divine, sacred union, relationship, what really does it mean for him? What does it, how do I see it? How does this see it? And do we see this together? Are we to stay together, move forward, or are things going to shift? Because there's a mismatched frequency here. So of course, between the super full moon, the 3-3 Stargate, all of this brought this up. And it was this moment of something just so, what we call just so innocent or naive or unintentional, but totally unconscious. And but it's so not brute, not vicious or anything like that, but the impact of it. So that's what we're communicating, because now we're working with subtle, very subtle frequencies, and these, as we are vibrationally very close with each other, you experience it on a whole different level. So we gave opportunity to communicate it, and it took a whole week, and I really expressed the disappointment, the sadness, and also what came up for me. I don't feel appreciated. I don't feel valued. I don't feel I'm in the right alignment. I don't feel I'm the right relation with Michael. I don't feel we can move forward. Like all of these came up, and the ability to speak the core of what I felt, and speak the from the hurt that I felt, like the confusion, like you have all this stuff, but there's a withheld energy. What is that? Why? What, like at the time that it needs more, why is this not connected or disconnected and not allowing? Which transferred to all those posts you've seen as a result of the deepest level of conversation we have had every single day, diving so deep. And the beautiful gift that Michael, after a bit of the defensives being put aside, to get to hear and really hear my heart. So hear the voice of the divine feminine. So he can hear the voice of his own divine feminine, and hear that collective voice that is not here to control, that is not here to manipulate, that is not here to harm, but is looking for the harmony. It's because it's seeing the disharmony and wish for it to be harmonized. So it was very deep for us, and we're kind of out of it because we got to really, like, really heart to heart speak through it, and also see, okay, if we're not to be together, no problem. We have such deep love for each other, but there's an area that's not quite aligning. And in order for it to align, the energy has to rise to allow the divine, really allow the divine. And the only way divine can come in is through the heart. So it can't be at the, solar plexus or the sacral, or these lower three chakras have to be really aligned. So that was quite a bit.
Yeah, and I thank you, honey. I really thank you for sharing that and bringing forth the depth of what goes through, because it really takes, a truth within us to speak the fullness of who we are. And what I'm very grateful about honey is she speaks her truth. She speaks her rawness. She speaks everything in this fierce, powerful, which sometimes even pushes me back because of just that energy of it's coming out and it's not hiding. And it's interesting because that is actually the gift that's being brought for me, in where I'm holding back in myself, and where I'm not coming back and speaking and truly bringing forth of what's happening, and then going deeper and to see, well, why is that? What is happening underneath that? Where is that misalignment? Because I know that when we are in our full alignment, we have the most incredible magic. We have experiences. We have things that are just beyond this world that we've seen
That
within,
we bring from the worlds in here.
and that we see the divinity of it, and also understanding at the same time that, as I spoke earlier, in divine unions, we are hit with the deepest situations, so that not only does it come through us, but we actually have to work through it to experience it, to share it, to teach it. Now with this, obviously, it was an experience that, as painful as it was, as much as I saw the limitation of where my mind wanted to defend or resist, because that limited perspective of my mind thought it wasn't as large as it was, because I didn't fully put everything into it. Meaning I was holding back the fullness of my love, the complete nature of what to be shared on a day that she fully celebrated, on a time that meant so much time for her, on a period where I was overextending myself, where I did not allow myself to get a good night's sleep, where I may have written something and did it so quick that I wasn't putting the intention into where the energy was being built up.
So it was very airy, not grounded. So as a result, it wasn't coming from his heart. And that was the thing. I was like, Michael, you are a totally heart being. What is it when you're withholding this energy with you and not allowing? So that really came to tackle this space of overextension, where we are healers. We are full-time healers constantly. So and to really to show this, what is it we, I mean, as healers, we are so much about assisting others, where we're overcompensating for an area within ourselves in which we are lacking, because we're not giving that to ourselves. We rather give it to another.
Right. And I feel what was really good about what was spoken earlier, I think it was Lisa that you spoke about, the lack of self-worth. And when we really look at, self-love, an area that I'm very, very inspired to just share deeper levels of, when there is a lack of self-worth, a lack of self-love, a lack of self-honor, a lack of self-respect, a lack of self-appreciation, we see that it's very easy to overcompensate that by this overextension, because we're trying to fill up the cup on the outside versus trying to focus it on within the inside. Right. And when we're not giving ourselves to love ourselves, to honor ourselves, to appreciate ourselves, then where are we giving the energy to our deepest ones in our life?
Or we're not able to fully embrace the celebration of that light of love, of that light of divinity that's been given to us, because the energy is not able to fully be expanded in it. When we are overextending, we're not giving that gift first to ourselves. We certainly can't fully share it with others, because there's a denial. It's like the frequency comes like this and it bypasses us. So it doesn't fully circulate, because when it fully circulates, everybody benefits, not just one part.
And so what was interesting is what I find is very powerful in what I learned, because I do feel that when these experiences come up, it really allows that depth to go within, to see, okay, not to 2020 go back, pick it apart, but really see what is arising, what is coming up, and where am I in my own journey where I'm not celebrating myself enough, where I'm not appreciating myself enough, where I'm not honoring myself, because all of that is within each and every one of us to fulfill, so that we have the fullness and the grandness to not only embody it, but to celebrate with the ones that we love. And I find that it's very easy in the masculine level, which we're still seeing how we can decompartmentalize of the areas that sometimes the mind wants to say, okay, I have this in check, I have this in check, I have this in check, when really we're in this multidimensional phase that it's so important to bring balance to each of those areas. So not one is being prioritized versus the other. There's a complete balance. So all layers, all bodies, all energies can come together, and to really look at where is that going, because it's not just me. It's not just honey. It's the divine union of the God within ourselves to connect to the God within. Is there something within myself that I am holding back, that I'm not fully honoring? Because as Honey said, she sees the sweetness, she sees the love, she sees those areas, and the fullness of it is. And
it's there, but so from this, what took place in the conversation, layer by layer by layer, we went through it, and myself too, checking it out, like what is it's not about a post, what's underneath it, really. If you take like 10 steps back, and what is underneath it, because in order for these timelines, so we're working with this harmonious timeline, and where there is the parallel universes, multiverses, past, future lives all together, we're moving out of those to the divine blueprint timeline. What does that mean? In order to be in the original divine blueprint timeline, that means there is no holding back of the divine within. When we're holding back from the divine within ourselves, we are withholding that energy in another. So within that vision, we're not holding that vision clearly, because we're not allowing that gift within ourselves. So it really becomes just a state of purity and truthfulness, and there is actually no expectation in that at all. It's the questioning whether the frequency is flowing because it will radiate like this, or the energy is blocking where it can't radiate. So then it meets like resistance and limitations. So within this, it was really beautiful, because we got to really communicate like that. Michael is in touch with his sacred divine feminine, and the fullness of it's allowing. So he because he's in a male incarnate, so there's still more programs that he's deleting out of his system, so that way he's fully allowing the divine feminine in him to be allowed to experience, felt, while he's in the masculine form, and that it's just the frequency within all of us. All of us are allowing it. That feminine, sacred, divine feminine energy, that's how we experience the love. And we can know it, but there's another one to feel it and allow it to be brought forth.
And I feel it's beautiful, because in this, that feeling can hurt so much, and the energies of pain come up, and I'm really learning and putting forth of when that pain comes up. Of course, it's important to me to focus on that, but it's also equally as important to communicate directly, and not to leave when growing up, sometimes there's been this old condition of time and space will heal. Well, when we're extremely sensitive beings, and we leave that time and space open, sometimes that sensitivity.
That means you're saying that means not communicating.
Not communicating.
So what we're speaking of, like there's an area within Michael, like for example, that not communicating fully his heart is truth, because he is.
Because I'm in a state where I'm quiet, or I'm still processing the moment of what's happening, because I'm stepping back from it. And I feel it's not to step back from it, but it's even to step forward
to it,
and to communicate even deeper into what's going on. So this is a great opportunity to draw even deeper communication. And what I appreciate with Honey, and what I really appreciate about both of us, is the ability when we do communicate is how we can listen and really heart each other, because there is that divine masculine quality within all of us when we can just hold space and just hear. Because the beautiful thing about it, as much pain that I felt and the much pain that I felt for you, it was equally as important for Honey to express all of the pain from the friendships, from the previous marriage, from all the energies of where she may have not felt appreciated, where she may not felt celebrated, where she might felt honored, where people just didn't quite understand her of what was happening in these moments. Because as we all know, Honey is a very blessed, galactic, incredible individual, which, I feel very few fully can understand and appreciate because of the level of what you bring toward us. You bring such a high vibration, and you bring such a magnitude of wisdom that some people just can't relate to it. And in their own ability not to relate, they've kind of stepped back, they've kind of held back, and all of a sudden it's created a lot of pain. So for this to come up, it was really, really powerful just to listen and to apply what I find is the biggest lessons of not taking it personal, of not judging, of just doing the best that I can, so that as everything is being brought forward, and yes, seeing what part is within me and honoring it and taking recognition, but also honoring all the other energies that are coming up to be cleansed. Because as we know, with things that happen, there's a lot of cleansing and washing away of old energies that are all of a sudden transforming and transmuting out of that. So to really be in a space to fully listen and to fully be to fully hold that hearted space, so that as we've done early in our relationship, when just giving that space so that the person can just say whatever they want. And even though I'm a very sensitive heart, and if words sound harsh or things are very, very intense in times, just to be present. And I find that it is one of the biggest gifts as we go through it. Our strength and our love even grows more, because we're not running away from it, and we're not trying to create excuses. Yes, I know on the first day my mind was going through all the aspects of not catching myself. So it had that mental tendency of saying, well, it had that way of saying, well, I didn't mean to do it, or it was unintentional, or it was unconscious because I was focusing on this. And so I could see where that resistance was in the mental body, where that defending was to cover up an area that I may have not fully, where I did not.
And you've seen that, because how many times is something simple that we see it, right, in our loved ones, and we bring it up, and then there's this like covering it up, or excuses, or trying to justify it, versus it's just person just didn't show up, simple, plain, and because some disconnected energy. And I feel it's very important for Michael to see that that's an old program that has to dismantle. But for you to see it within you, you'll be able to see it in the men, because you're running a men's circle. You're helping the other men, and how important that is. Here, I want to see 1 second. Okay. 1 second. Hold on a minute here.
But isn't that an expectation? But isn't that an expectation that his words that he expressed on Facebook post would be an identical match to yours? Wasn't he expressing his truth of what his experience was for him?
I mean, she's seeing what we're saying, but I mean, she's saying like the post you put,
right? The post that I put, So I'll respond to it. So in what I was expressing, I feel that it was a perspective where I was coming from. Yet there was another aspect where I wasn't fully honoring my love to the highest level, in the way that the energy that is written didn't reflect the fullness of
the wholeness
of what was being celebrated.
It was very subpart.
So it was subpart. So the mind, yes, can be triggered that because what I wrote, there was a trigger in the disappointment and the upsetness of it, which is there's nothing wrong with that. It's normal. Yet there was a hold back energy of me not fully expressing all of the energy that could have been written into that.
Because you were tired, because you were overextended, because it was just like, okay, let me just do this quickly, but not putting your love behind it.
Yeah. So there was a lack of love into that. Exactly. David, in honoring of all parts.
What is Maria
Maria
saying?
said, love to you both for your transparent truth. Same thing happened with my marriage. Today is our 10th wedding anniversary. Husband ran away this weekend to get away from the truth.
Wow. Yeah.
So
It's hard. It's hard. It's hard.
Exactly. That's the key. Listening to one another, in honoring of all parts, past, present, transforming into the now. Yet to live on not to live based on the past, and honoring and acknowledgement of what and where.
Yeah.
Beautiful network. So, Michael, with your post, you intentionally triggered Honey, where she wasn't appreciated or fully seen something very deep that has come. So I would say with your post, it wasn't intentionally at all. What it was what has happened with Honey, and I'll be very honest, is the one thing I'm very aware is there's not a malicious bone in me. There's not an area that I seek for revenge. If anything, what has happened in our biggest moments is there is an unconscious act.
Yeah.
In that unconscious act, it's my own lack of awareness. In my own lack of awareness, I may be not...
A lack of wholeness.
A lack of wholeness, or my lack...
and your heart in it.
My lack of heart, because I may be operating from a more of a mental aspect than a heart-centered aspect. Then it comes up in a way where Honey is aware on a larger perspective of what she's seeing that I'm not seeing.
And I experienced it. This is not coming from love. This is coming from the head energy.
It's coming from the head energy, and the head wants to, and then so my response is the head wants to defend it by saying, Honey, I didn't write this. This is triggering. And there are pieces of that are coming up that have a certain small truth to it, but it's beyond what the head energy is trying to describe, because it's really trying to protect itself.
Yeah.
It's trying to hold itself as not being the victim, or it's my fault. Yet when we go deeper into it, then it's saying, okay, what's underneath that? What was the full reasoning of me not being present, of me not being fullness into what I was writing? Because literally the night before, I went out to see an old friend who I haven't seen in a while, to see her child, to look at an opportunity in the future to collaborate, to do more. And so in that night, I was doing so much, but by the time I wrote the post, by the time I posted in the morning, it was like, okay, I'm just getting out. I didn't put the heartfelt energy into it, which Honey could feel very quickly. And so for that, it's that unconscious energy, because it wasn't in the fullness, and I was holding back of all the energies that were building up during the week. All these energies that were being built up during the week, I didn't fully express it due to my own lack of awareness, lack of sleep, lack of attention, and really the lack of love that I was not only giving to myself, but it was being presented to Honey, because I wasn't celebrating the one fully in the day that she wants to fully celebrate to her highest. Because
but we're celebrating regardless.
We're celebrating,
you were missing the celebration. Right. And what's important about this, in what we really want to share, like we're in a sacred divine union, which means these are all more subtle. We're very attuned to the frequencies, whether they're in harmony or disharmony. When they are coming from the heart, they are radiating through us. So within the space we share, when we are coming from the heart, it expands out to everyone and everything. But if I'm not coming from my heart, I am affecting this frequency that is supposed to be of service. So in a sacred divine relationship, sacred divine union, the whole purpose of this union is to serve, and to serve divine through it. That's it. That is it. So when we are denying that within us, we're denying it with each other. We're denying everybody else out of it. And I'm able to catch it right away and question it. Hey, what's going on? So it brought up this communication of overextension. What's it like when we overextend ourselves? So we don't have that time and energy for ourselves. When we don't give that energy and time for ourselves, which is our personal responsibility of the love within, we can't then give it within this space. And from there, what happens? We can't serve fully, because we're only allowing the light bends through us. It's not fully radiating.
And what I tell, it's funny as this is coming through, because I say this to my clients a lot of times, like on a very practical level.
Yes.
Imagine waking up and going into your car and you drive outwardly without any gas, without any oil, and make it even worse, with no clothes on. And you drive outwardly to help serve.
Yeah.
Because there hasn't been the time and energy to invest and put that within yourselves, to feed yourselves, to nourish yourselves, to give honor in that celebration, then we're not able. And it's a very, very, I feel, one of the biggest programs and conditions, especially as mothers, especially as ones that are healers, that we're still in this day and age where we put, and many of you can feel this, we put everyone before us, and we forget to put ourselves first. And what's happening, I mean, we hear it every time we're on the airplane. When the plane goes down, the oxygen mask goes over ourselves first versus versus the children beside, even though it makes sense, like, oh my gosh, there's an innocent child, let me help. But if I'm not filling myself up with the oxygen, I can't help. Just like if I'm not honoring myself in my own self-love, self-worth, self-value, then I'm not able to give that to honey. And it's sad because sometimes we're giving so much to everyone else, we lose sight of what's in front of us. And so there's that old programming that needs to be completely washed away. Is if I place myself first, I am egotistic, I'm vain, I'm selfish. Oh my gosh, if I place myself first, people are going to think I'm just the most ridiculous, because look what he's doing. He's not honoring everyone else. Yet we look at the equation so simple. The more love that can be placed in ourselves, the more love we can give, because no one can love you more than you can love yourself. No one can honor you more than you can honor yourself. We can try to teach our partners, we can try to share it, but our own individuality that we've been living in this soul for so many lifetimes has been in this constant growing. And as much as we've shared journeys, we can only communicate so much of that before we go directly in and understand ourselves.
And what is so important is, as you're watching, so for me, this space also was created. So for me to look at my own value and really see that if Michael is not showing up, does that mean he doesn't value me? Does that mean that he doesn't appreciate all of that? So for me, I had to look at some of the energies that I have faced in many experiences and also make the choice. So it was very much the space of no, I do value this divine in this vessel. I do value the purpose of being incarnated and what I'm here to serve. I have so much appreciation for the courage in which in the places that I've gone to inside of me to be a communicator of a pure channel, a pure voice. So as a result of it, the way, because before, like a program before would be the way this person's reacting is communicating my self-worth, where it's like, no, he is not connecting to his own divinity. So that energy is coming, but that is not the truth in which I see myself. And that gave me the opportunity to really speak that and also question Michael, why does he not love himself more? So it was for me to see that and then bring it back to him, Michael, like, you're worthy of this love. Why not? Why not fully allow it? Where is it that's missing that has to come in? Because I was like, I do value it. And you brought this up, and for me to say, no, that is not how I truly feel. I feel this love for me. Your action is your own response in which this area has to tighten up. So if we can move forward with it. And that's the consciousness, not blaming anybody, but out of love, questioning and seeing where is the love thriving, where is the love not thriving. So in the area for him as a healer is so thriving, right? But there is an area that's needs to also be brought into. So the energy is balanced in all areas. And for me was, Michael, I can only be with you if you love yourself the way divine loves you. I cannot be with you less than that. And in order for us to go forward, you really have to gift yourself the gift of loving you, not me. I will only benefit when you have loved yourself enough. And that's a very different consciousness. That's what we're sharing. A sacred divine union requires each individual within this union show up in their fullness of love, not half, not partial, not a little bit here, there. No, fully 100% show up. So we're sharing the purity. And that's the part that I hold him responsible, not from a place of judgment, not from a place of, oh, you're not giving this to me. No, from a place of you are called to serve. And if you're called to serve, you cannot serve from your imbalanced masculine. You must serve from your divine, sacred masculine, which means you need to love your higher self, not your limited self, all your parts, and then come in. So that way we can serve together. And that's the truth that maybe I'm wrong. I don't feel so. I just feel that's the truth in which my ascension team has showed me. And I can't share a lesser vibration than this because I hold myself accountable in that.
You nailed it. I feel that it is
and that's what the frustration is when he is overextending himself. He's not loving himself. He's there for you are of service, but when he's exhausting himself, he doesn't have that energy for him. He won't have it for our flame. He won't fully be able to serve it.
Right.
Yeah.
And I fully agree. I mean, to put into the clear simplicity of it all is, I feel love is our fullest expression that we are here to do on the planet. We are here to serve in our highest state of love. And that highest state of love begins within ourselves.
Yeah.
And that highest state of love, even if we want to express it out into our fullness of it, it starts within us.
Yeah.
And it starts within how we choose to give that time. Even if things are extremely busy, even if things are moving at a chaotic rate, it's taking that time within ourselves. And it's such a
higher responsibility.
It's such a higher responsibility. And what I find is it's so simple.
Yeah.
But when we really, each of you think of like, well, how much? Because one thing that I constantly imagine is just, even from a mathematician, is how much love we're giving each day outwardly. How much love are we receiving to ourselves? Are we creating for ourselves? Because I bet all of us, somewhere along some time, we're still giving more love outwardly than inward. Now, that's no excuse of where we're at, what we're doing, because we're still learning this. We weren't taught this. We weren't given the opportunity to really, if you think about it, in our schools, in our programs, there wasn't a lot of energies that really spoke about our self-love, our nourishment. If anything, it was more created as a sin or like blasphemy if you place yourself first, because how guilty, how selfish that can be. So I understand the truth of it. I also understand how powerful love is, because underneath all of this, what I'm so grateful to Honey and what I love so much is we know that we love each other dearly.
Yeah.
We know that when we speak and when this comes forward, we not only listen to each other, but we embrace each other.
Yeah.
And we fully allow the tears, we fully allow the anger, and we always do that.
We fully allow all of it, the upset,
upset,
everything.
And at the end of the day, we know love wins.
Yeah.
We know love is there.
Yeah, and if it is love, we're going to hear each other.
Right.
And we're both going to come into the same place.
And that love, there is a strength.
Yeah.
There is a fierceness, just as there's a place of soft and gentleness. It's a balance of it all. And the gift that I find that's so deeply enrooted is when one can fully, when you can fully express, when you can really dig to the deepest levels, and I can hear you, then that expands my heart because I know that the very last thing that I want to do is hurt you.
Yeah,
the last thing which requires more compassion for myself.
Yeah.
for what's happening, because I can easily blame myself. I can even get on myself. I can easily like, oh my gosh, I'm a horrible person.
And and he does get very mad at himself. He did get, and I'm helping him move. Like stop. Like don't get mad at yourself. Okay, shit happens. No problem. Let's just bring it now here. Okay, look what happened. Like let's okay. So and because I have that mother energy, and it's
because
like okay, things happen. No problem. Okay, what can we do next?
Part of it is, as we all know, is the last thing we want to do is we want to hurt someone.
Yeah.
And sometimes when we hurt someone, when we're such sensitive beings, I feel like it's like this double sword arrow. Like all of a sudden you hurt someone, and then you hurt yourself, and then you're like in this like double pain of like, gosh, I feel so bad because I hurt the person, then I hurt myself, and it's just so bad.
And he usually freezes, and that's it. Michael, let's turn this off, my love, because it's so hot. And he usually gets like freezes, and that's what. Oh my God, he feels like horrible. Oh my God, like I did an action that created hurt. It's like, okay, shit happens. Let's move forward. Okay, let's see what was happening, so we can sort of like decode it. And these are really the living codes, because what the living codes in our is in our everyday action. We're being blasted, as we talked about, these plasma rays, these diamond codes, like this crystalline diamond are awakening within our heart, within the plasma of our cells, within the Earth's grid, the fifth dimensional frequency of Gaia. It's all crystalline. So what are these? These are all part of our expansion, our ascension in our crystalline Christed being. So within that, we're crystal clear. That's it. So we don't bullshit ourselves. We don't lie to each other. We're able to be naked truth. And each time we catch it within ourselves, we're able to see it within another very easily. And from a place of love, questioning that. Now, if the person is ready and is feels called, then they will like, oh my God, like I'm striving to be the greatest version of me in my ascended self, bringing it here of earth to be of service. So you don't defend anymore. It's like, wait a minute, let me see where is the area, and let me take the responsibility back. And that's part of the empowerment, that I'm going to take this back because this is where my energy is leaking. It's very simple.
Yeah,
I see.
And I feel that when this arises within us, it arises within normal relationships.
Right.
That when this pain comes, these codes, this opening really gives us the opportunity to use these powers that the universe is teaching us, the power of compassion, the power to fully trust that this experience is coming along for the highest good of all. The power, which I find is one of the biggest ones, is to surrender. As much as the mental body wants to fight it, wants to create this level of resistance, in this surrendering, not losing, not feeling like you're giving your power away, but surrendering so that all of a sudden you're bowing down and accepting it, which allows the opportunity to allow it, which allows the opportunity to trust and see what's happening, because sometimes we have to pull ourselves a couple steps back. And that's what sometimes my innate reaction is, because it's, honey, she's like, okay, she's like in a boxing and she's like, okay, let's talk, let's get into it. And then sometimes I'm withdrawing myself backwards because I'm looking at the higher piece. I'm looking at the higher aspects, like what's going on? What are we both learning? What's the higher piece of it? What's going on? Yet I may not be seeing the direct nature of what's right in front of me, because all of a sudden I'm retracting so far back. Like, well, what's actually happening right now? Where my mental body is, it's limiting itself from not recognizing that it's utilizing this time to be the ego, be the place that it's trying to control, versus allow the heart to feel. And really what I put myself through is, okay, if I'm going through this situation, how does my heart create the experience? If I feel through my heart, and I'm doing this in a heartfelt Christed state, if I'm coming from the fifth dimensional frequency and I'm coming directly through my heart and I feel my way through all this, what is my reaction? What is my action? And what is my ability to navigate? Because then that is the trueness and the authentic self that comes through, and it's
and that's when I feel where it's that light in you has been turned on. Like, wait a minute, like I'm gonna really pay attention to this. And I feel like this is another area that I really want to speak of just very briefly. I in a female incarnate for so many years, we have, this is a program that we're watching. We have held, for example, sometimes our partner or let's say brother or sons and what have you, like sort of like this place of not how do not fully accountable. So letting them get away with talking their way out, letting them to just make choices that are unconscious and just whatever excuses, whatever, and then their action, allowing their action to communicate to us our worth, our value, our and just sort of like that heart we feel, which has created hurt on that. And one of the things that is changing is the ability to voice and stand in the truth where it is your deep centered truth, and not backing down and helping the other one rise up. If their action has been in disharmony or lack of awareness, so to stay here to help the other one see it through that heart space. And I feel that is the voice of the Magdalene consciousness that is rising on the planet within all of us, whether we're in a female form or a male form, doesn't matter. We're honoring the voice of this truth here, passing through the gateway of the heart and not backing it down anymore. And there's a very peace state in it. Like when Michael and I were communicating, I was like, Michael, I'm gonna stay here. Your behavior when it is coming from your head energy. Did you see that, Spirit?
Mm-mm.
Oh my God! Did you all see that? Aw, thank you. Oh, you have to see that herb. Thank you. So when I'm staying in that place, it's very peaceful. Like I'm just not going to compromise anymore or anything like that. And that's we're going out of. We're not compromising because we're coming this place of just total alignment, total being, where we can just share the frequency together, and it's fluid and it's flowing and it's easy and peaceful. None of the past, any of those that hold over us, because we're in the original divine blueprint timeline. And the timelines are a huge part of this, as I've mentioned before. The other part that I just want to briefly share, like one of the things that also this brought up with Michael, I said, Michael, I've also seen that I have overextended myself because I'm that motherly nature too. So I'm going to withdraw a little bit of that energy. So because this is also, I'm taking the personal responsibility that I have to bring this balance back into me, so that way for my own higher self-love. So we're really communicating that. So and that's the beauty when we give ourselves the ability to go through these very difficult places. And of course, you guys see us on Facebook, see us this, and it's like, oh wow, like, and there's that like, oh wow, you guys never get into a fight argument. That is not true. In a sacred divine union, if anything, it takes more responsibility, more courage, and there's so much more subtle energy that you're dealing with, that on a multiple dimensional level, that you have no choice but to address, communicate the second it's off, whether it's within yourself or that. And I saw that within myself after we came back with from Costa Rica. I was like, okay, I got to bring this into alignment, which also was the communication. Michael has to bring this in alignment in order for us to continue forward in our union. Otherwise, we can't go forward.
Which was very interesting because there was a mirror of overextension on both of us.
Yeah.
There was a mirror on that. And what I find is powerful when we give ourselves the opportunity to really look deeply in what's happening, that I always see a gift, a beautiful, beautiful, just beautiful sign from above.
Yeah.
And it couldn't have been a more powerful sign 2 days ago when Honey went to receive a massage. And when she came back.
Wait, let's say this, because these past several days, my physical body has been going through a lot of this physical symptoms, like the exhaustion, the thirst, and pain.
The pain. When the pain comes up, the pain comes in the back of the heart to show you.
So back of my heart, I felt like there's this spasm, like just pulling, and there are these rings that just come into spasm. It's like the plasma rings. It's like, and I just needed it to release, and whatever I couldn't release it. And within this space, I told Michael, I was like, Michael, I want you to take care of you, not because I'm going to take care of this. So I did go to our Asian massage therapist. They were really good. They did the work. And then the next day,
and I felt honored, not for my own ego, but just for the gift of Honey coming back and says, wow, you really have good hands. I can see the difference of, beautiful massage therapists, but just the art of what has accumulated over 30 years of just many different types of dimensional massage healing. And it was powerful and a gift for Honey to recognize, can you work on
so
me?
it was on Tuesday, right?
No, Wednesday.
It was on Wednesday. So Wednesdays usually we celebrate our weekly anniversary, and we sit in a meditation together. But I was like, wow, like just breathing, like what is this thing? It felt to me like as if there's something in the lower part of my back of my heart on the right side, like from my spine. There's something that is so stuck, and it's affecting the breath. So I told Michael, I was like, Michael, I need help. And this is also part of us voice it. When you need help, you have to be able to say you need help with. I said, Michael, I need help. Can you literally go from back of my head, by my side, by my spine, coming down? You got to get in and push this out. I don't know what this is, but you got to push it out of me.
But interesting enough,
yeah.
You were communicating when we first started the massage. You spoke about the back, but in those details, when doing the massage, which is beyond a massage, many people have to realize that I incorporate not only just the energetic level of all the acupressure
It's
points,
shamanic, it's angelic,
shamanic energy,
it's galactic,
the angelic, but also the layers of closing my eyes, visualizing what's coming through my hands, and literally opening up the passageways as I feel the muscles, as Honey is communicating, but telepathically communicating, and what needs to get done. Because as I'm moving through the body and as I'm going over the areas, all of a sudden there's a gift that Honey opens up into her sound that allows that
so what
sound.
happens when, so just to clear it so that you understand the visual. So when there is an area that, let's say, it's extremely tight, and Michael goes really, really deep, we're talking about very deep level of massage. When he goes, so I use my deep ancient sound, breath and sound. So when he does that, I start bringing the sound so that my breath is extremely long. And from there, as it does that, it moves me into a trance state. So I move literally to I'm in theta, but it's past theta. Often I'm past theta brainwave because I'm not even here. And I'm aware, because I no longer can feel my body at all. So Michael is able to get so deep in that space. And then from there, what happens is I'm having experiences with higher dimensional beings coming, visually seeing them, telepathically communicating, auditory hearing, and there's all kinds of things happening.
As I'm visualizing, not only working on the physical layer, but also visualizing through my hands, golden energy, and just as if you're going through all the layers of the body, clearing, opening up, clearing.
So while Michael was doing that, I started using a sound because he got into the area in the back of the heart that was very, very tight. So as I brought the sound and the breath in, my consciousness left. And usually it's like as if I'm not even breathing by that. Well, sound is first before. So then in that moment, I experienced Archangel Michael coming above the room, but I'm not in the room either. And then he brought his blue sword. Everything was blue. Everything, all the lines in my body was blue. And I know that from my Arcturian being, like I'm blue. My veins are blue. Everything is blue. My hue, the rays are blue. I'm a blue ray anyway. So the Archangel Michael showed up and he took his sword and he said, I'm going to now insert this into you so you're permanently protected. I remember that specifically, the word. So he took the sword and he put it inside. Before this, Michael was opening. I was like, Michael, my prana tube is opening open it, open it. So he started going like this, like it was like as if I was coming out of a body. I could feel like I'm coming out of these dead bodies,
Right.
literally
And
dead bodies.
As the sword was coming through, you
Yeah.
spoke about those 4 blue beings.
Yeah, but what happened? So then my prana tube started getting bigger and bigger, and then inside my spine, I was seeing the universe spiraling. And while this was happening, then Archangel Michael showed up. Archangel Michael put his sword right through my crown into my prana tube that felt like it went into my spine. So then everything became blue flame, and through this flame things started getting wider and wider, and I was receiving that I'm going to stand taller, which was very interesting.
You know what's interesting that just is coming through now?
Yeah.
Before, when I was clearing you off, when like at the very beginning of the healing,
Yeah.
I remember taking the Palo Santo and I was breathing, and as I was clearing,
Yeah.
I remember as I was doing it, I was because I do this with all of my Archangel Michael transformational healings,
Yeah.
that I literally put in the prayer, thank you, Archangel Michael, for clearing all blockages, all obstructions, and just feeling that love and gratitude of the connection that I have with him, and just placing that right before the healing, because sometimes we jump right into it. And in that one, I was just feeling just the urge to clear the space before. So to call upon him in the beginning,
it's
and
interesting.
then have him come through, and just to feel the humbleness and the humility of being the service, being the servant of light, allowing myself just to be the conduit, and in that conduit, allowing whatever comes through, because I'm learning, and with Honey expressing what goes through in the gratitude she sees so much, is how what I've kind of put on the shelf as my old career of massage, it's been expanding into levels where she was seeing golden light coming out of his hands. I was visualizing what was amazing when I turned her over.
No, hold on, because I was on my tummy. And so Michael, I said, like, you got to open my arms. So he had opened my arms, and from my spine, like the energy had to come out like this, like literally from my spine. I was merging out of my spine. A new body was coming out, and I was seeing these different bodies, like old suits coming out. And from that place, when Archangel Michael put this sword into my crown, coming down, and I told Michael, I was like, come here, like go like this, like the top of my head had to open up.
You said touch your head, but then
I was like, touch my
but when I touched her head, because she'd give me singles, then I started pulling it out like this.
It had to open out.
Eyes closed, feeling the energy. And I think as many as you're aware of, when you're just intuitively feeling the energy that's coming through, just without a thought, without asking, just keep clearing, keep cleansing, keep opening.
That's what he was doing. So when Archangel Michael put that sword into me, there were 4 guardian blue beings, and they're kind of like, very extraterrestrial looking, bodyguard, very like this. Horns. They with horns and all kinds of things. So this I was seeing listen to what I'm saying, from inside my spine that was aligned with my prana tube. There was a new me that was coming out, and it was coming out while these other bodies were going out. And then I saw these 4 blue beings come in front of me and telepathically communicated. And Archangel Michael said to them, "You're no longer needed." And then it showed Archangel Michael above Michael, and his flames, his ray of the blue, everything was that electric blue, was while Michael was sitting on the table working on me, there were all this blue coming through Michael that was opening these bodies out of me. They were peeling the old bodies out of me. It was very, very interesting because 1 second, then telepathically he said, because at that time I couldn't even communicate, I couldn't go into a channel, nothing, because there was a communication with Marco telepathically that was taking place to open things up even deeper, because then Archangel Michael said, "You're permanently now inside this flame, and you're forever protected," which I feel was so important for me. Coming in this incarnation, one of the biggest, most difficult thing for me has been not feeling safe, because as a child, as a 1-year-old, I was sexually abused, and so many things took place, and a lot of trauma. Those are the old stories of my old timeline. But this was my agreement coming in this incarnation to face the very opposing energy that was suppressing the Magdalene frequency. So I had to experience that shutting down of the sexual energy and dominating it by family member. And so there's been years of clearing out of that, and being on the other side of it, being a witness to the abuser and the love we share him as a guardian, which I feel is it's just truly a beautiful celebration, which I wrote a post about it. Trust, trust, trust. The heart you're going through, once you're on the other side of it, you see it completely different, and you're in celebration because it no longer hurts. It's, if anything, is turned into celebration. Point being, in this incarnation, I had a very hard time with a masculine energy to feel safe, feel secure. So the masculine and me had to really come forward, and my guardians. So by Archangel Michael doing this, and I get to see it, it was so amazing to feel that profound support that was very healing for me. I need it. I need it.
And almost like what you said with that masculine support, it gives the opportunity with those bodyguards that have been released.
Yeah, because the bodyguard has been the protector of me.
For that masculinity to be released.
That's right.
So the fullness of your divine sacred feminine.
And that's what happened.
Can also
because
rise
the chalice in me was returned to me through this. So here's how it returned. So Michael asked me to flip over, and I flipped over. My eyes was closed, so he intuitively started going here and just
from the top all the way from the throat chakra all the way down.
Start opening my chest, and I was topless and start opening. So what happened was, as I could see when he was opening again, this dead body was just totally peeling off, and there was this rising of emerging resurrection energy, which was so interesting, because the front of me, the diamond I've always seen, the back of me, the diamond opened up, and inside of it was suddenly Metatron's cube of light, and inside of it was the universal light shining, and I was like, oh my God, like, wow, like it was right inside so it was also what I always knew in the being in the Lemurian body, in this crystal, how that is. So it was like suddenly all was returning back to me. And then Michael started, as he was doing this with his eyes closed, he came over my womb and my sacral and all of this. And what happened was, I saw the womb in me open up, like literally like a volcanic eruption open up like this, and inside of it was cosmos, and this cosmos, and started circulating through my pranic tube and coming all the way over. My head went back, and top of my head opened up to the galactic mother center, which is the chalice, the Magdalene chalice. The chalice cup is exactly that. Stellar Grace, we all talked about it. It's the return, where we return and claim the cup back inside of us. And that's what really opened up. And I was just, when we finished, I was just so wobbly, because like I kept seeing the universe is spinning inside of me, like in my pranic tube. And why, like it opened up, and I was free.
Right. And I felt, and I literally felt it could not be a perfect completion from one Wednesday to the next Wednesday, and to really look at the gifts of all the energies that came forth, the highs, the lows, the energies that are moving forward, and then to see that in the ability of just complete divine service, of complete divine energy, of what we usually think of energies being removed. I saw your message, Maria, of like swords being removed. Trust me, I know what it's like to clear entities, clear energies, but this was so powerful because even in my own meditation, in one time where I had a direct experience with Archangel Michael, I too felt a sword being placed into my crown all the way within, as that protection of energy was an initiation for me. So to hear that from Honey, and just to feel the love in that moment of whatever is being placed forward, that conduit, which is this vessel, this heart, which radiates that amount of love. I am just here to be of complete divine humble service. I am here to fully radiate that in any which way possible, and to allow that trust.
Which was really important. That trust is so important, because the one thing I feel we left out was this: at the very end, a Syrian blue being came, right?
Mm-hmm.
And put its forehead on my forehead, and it shined this light from its forehead into me, and there was this lightning that went all through me, right? And it was so beautiful, because it is that trust, it is that allowing, it is the art of being in that space. And that's the space that we've been communicating. Michael, look what an incredible gift you are when you're here, because you don't control it, you don't have to give it, you have to do nothing. It works through you. And that's the whole communication is for all of us. When we're really here, our actions are from here, our choices are made from here, and the frequency is from here. We don't have to give it, we don't have to share it. It already is. Just like the way your heart already beats, it just is. You don't ever do it again.
Mm-hmm.
There's no doing, because it just is. And I feel that's the gift in this time space reality that each of us are being given, to bring these frequencies to us so boldly, give ourselves the permission to clear things, clear our outer environment, take these bodies, take it to the spa, deep massage, clear shit out of you, so you're just radiating the purest light without doing it.
Right.
Yeah.
And to me, again, I really felt that this flame within us, this energy that went through so much this week, all of a sudden came back in its fortification, came back in its fully honor, as we went through one of the most challenging weeks, with many things happening during that week. And so to feel that, to acknowledge it, and to, what I always find is to be in the highest support for Honey, to be in the highest support in my own divinity when it counts, when it
And
comes
vice
through.
versa,
Yeah,
like
and
to really
vice versa.
stand behind each other like this,
and then,
you know?
Then that magic, I find, is the fullness of what comes forward. So that magic, as we express it between us, is the exact same magic that's in within every human, every incarnation. It's not just that, because of the skill sets that we have, all of this that we're expressing is equally empowering. Just as you, Fair Blanca, talked about it, just as many have spoken, David, you've spoken about it, we have that opportunity with us to trust, to honor. Even in meditation that I did that morning before working on Honey, I just focused on golden light coming into my forehead, and I just saw this source energy come into my forehead, and as it was coming through, it was like literally tingling my body with electric golden source love that was just shaking me, to a point that light language came out. I felt such an out-of-body experience that helped heal my stomach, that when I came out of my morning prayer, I spoke to Honey. I'm like, Honey, I just had an out-of-body experience, because I just connected from here that opened up my whole,
I was
all my chakras.
like, for God's sake, just let your heart rule. That's it.
And how synchronicical or serendipitous that happened that morning. And then that day, it just seemed like it expanded to the point that I literally tell Honey, like, this is such an empowering level of, this should be done at least once a month, just to help clear and embody. Because what's happening is there is expansion going on in Honey. There's expansion going with myself, but there's also a teaching to share with you.
Because the reason why, and I feel like I personally want to throw up when people are putting on a face and trying to be like, oh, we're this perfect couple and all of that. Like, I just can't resonate with that. For us, if you're in a sacred divine relationship, we are in our truest, raw relationship. We're going to have blissful moments and we're going to have really crappy moments. And all of this is to communicate our deepest truth, and from a place of respect, and have the courage, whether we're going to move forward or not. It is to be totally truthful with this, have the ability to communicate it. Of course, and also just surrender. Of course, a lot of people would be upset if you're not going to go forward. We ourselves would be upset, but we're very brutally honest, naked soul, naked truth. And that's what I appreciate. And we share this, like in its matured state, because while we're going through it, we don't quite have the language, because we need ourselves to go through it. And we gave ourselves the week. Each day I spoke like deeply about what, like from the wisdom, drawing from the wisdom. And the reason why we shared, because there is a value in social media. There's a value. You're able to see us clearly. We can put on a face, but you'll be able to see through us. And to me, that's a disrespect when we are not communicating clearly and truthfully, because we're able to be seen. And that's a thing that always upset me. I could see people that were saying one thing, but I could see their truth was totally us. And that really upset me. And I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be the couple that is not living their truth. They're just talking shit. I don't want, and I have an allergic response to that. I don't want that. I want us to be very raw and very real and very public. And that's the thing, pushing Michael, like, listen, we're in the front. You're either in or you're out. I can't do in this between state. And that's because I'm honoring that truth, So, and as he's embracing that, he's like, okay, well, I'm in, so I'm going to reveal myself, not just for ourselves, because it is the part of the revelation in all of us stepping forward with the fullness of our truth. And I feel when we do it, we give permission to others to feel allowed to express their truth. And that's truly the gift in why we're sharing. And that's what I appreciate. And that's what I really appreciate, that we can go so deep and recognize it's not that there's anything wrong with us or there's wrong with the relationship. We're touch an area of this harmony. Do we have the will? Do we have the respect? Do we have the desire? Do we have the passion and the love to give love to an area that is this harmony, rather than pretend all is beautiful? That's all I'm saying.
So thank you. This has been a very, very powerful, wonderful, amazing week of just deep, deep revelations that we're very excited to share, that we're honored that you can listen and to really feel into all of this, because in the personal experiences that we're sharing, it's also the truth that's being brought up to be seen. And the more that we can be seen, the more we can fully express more and not hold back. And even those areas where we're holding back, to look deeply and seeing where are these fears coming from lack, from limitation, from pain, from just our own levels, and to create love in that.
And bring the love into those areas.
And create peace into that, because sometimes we can quickly judge what is not happening, but at the same time, to thank what's happening. Because as we thank what's happening, not only are we surrendering and giving permission to give compassion to it, but we're healing that indirectly within ourselves. So thank you guys for this opportunity.
Thank you so much.
We feel blessed that you could spend this time. We went a little over today because we had so much to share.
Okay. But we're going to still do the card and that. And the other thing I want to tell you why this is important. Tomorrow is the 30th. So on this 3/3, tomorrow I'm going to be on Todd Medina's show at 3 p.m. Eastern. And it is this last Stargate. There is a completion energy. And this has to do with the Yeshua codes. It's the Yeshua Magdalene codes. But it is this crystalline energy. How crystallized are you willing to be? How Christed are you willing to be? That means how much you're allowing this radiance in your truth to completely be communicated. So tomorrow, while I'm on the show, there's a lot I'll be talking about what I'm doing with this light code, light language transmission activations that is clearing these timelines. I'll be doing some live transmissions in which you can join in. So please be there if you feel called to it, and we'll bring a lot of this language of light and sharing. The other part of it is we're very grateful to each of you that you took this time, self-love, to give to yourself and just hear what we're sharing, hear what the other ones are sharing, and just so that we can be in this space together. And I feel when we're coming to this space, we recognize there isn't anything wrong with us. We're all going through it together. We're all going through it together. And that's the gift of sharing. So with that, I like for Michael and I to do you know which day you're in already?
It's 88.
Okay, so let's do this for a moment.
Okay, so closing your eyes, taking a nice deep breath in, and listening with your heart.
Coming to that sacred white flame inside. Yeah, so it can transmute everything it needs to transmute.
And taking another deep breath in, and exhaling out. And listening to the message of forgiveness.
Oh, good one. So this is from the message of the angels. So Michael is going to be reading, and we're going to have a collective message for us. And Michael's mother is here. Hi, Susan. So she can listen to this message for us as well. Hi, Susan. Come on over. We're finishing our Friday tea time, Ascension talk.
So closing your eyes and placing your hands over your heart and listening. Forgive yourself. Ultimately, all the resentments that you hold boomerang inward and become self-anger, which percolates to the surface and seeps into your daily life. These feelings can blind you to the everyday joys that await you in the world. For this reason, we angels are continuously guiding you to forgive and release the harmful buildup of resentment in your mind and body. This is the ultimate detoxification that brings you everything you seek: more energy, clear focus, a great ability to concentrate, renewed playfulness, love, money, you name it. The rewards of forgiveness occur as quickly as light floods a room when a lamp is switched on. You're much too hard on yourself, beloved one. You believe that perfection is a requirement of being valued, yet you're entirely lovable as you stumble, learn, grow, and move on. That's why the most important acts of forgiveness are the ones you direct inward. When you learn to lovingly embrace every part of yourself, the spark within you beams as brightly as a searchlight, healing and attracting others who benefit from your warmth and wisdom. Release the resentments you have toward yourself today. Let go of any guilt or self-reproach, and bathe yourself in much-deserved love. So I'd like you to repeat after me. I forgive myself.
I forgive myself.
And accept that who I am is awesome.
And accept that who I am is awesome.
I grant myself the same unconditional love.
I grant myself the same unconditional love
That God and the angels give to me.
that God and the angels gave to me.
I revel in the delicious feeling of cherishing myself.
I
Revel.
revel in the deliciousness of the cherry.
Let me repeat that. I revel in the deliciousness. I revel in the delicious feeling.
I revel in the delicious feeling
of cherishing myself.
of cherishing myself.
Welcome, Mom.
This is Susan Abramson, Michael's mom. We're so happy she's here with us. That was beautiful. And so it is.
And so it is.
So let us now just see what the Ascension energy message is for us. So just go ahead and breathe in a blue mist into you and breathe out a pink mist. And take another deep in breath in of the blue mist into you. And breathe out pink. And one more time. Fill in that space and let go through the pink ray of gratitude and forgiveness. Okay, so the message of the Ascension energies today is, let's see, it's still going. I'm looking to see. Okay, here we go. So Isis, let's see. It's number 38. Illuminated Master Isis was Mara in Lemuria. Isis, the high priestess of Atlantis, mother of Horus in Egypt, Mary, and mother of Jesus. She was always overled by the universal angel Mary, who helped Isis pass her initiations and ascend in each lifetime. This card reminds you of the power of the feminine. Face your challenges with the equanimity and courage, now knowing you are helped by angels. Keep your light bright and your energy pure no matter what. And this will enable you to influence many of the ascension path. Remember, there is a great plan. Affirmation. I face my challenges with calm and strength.
I face my challenges with calm and strength.
And so it is.
And so it is.
Yeah, so isn't it interesting? Because this is exactly the communication when we talk about the galactic mother, when we talked about the galactic center, we talk about the divine, sacred, divine, feminine. Isis, Mother Mary are in the center of that. That chalice well, we're talking about the chalice cup, is that we talked about it with Stella also talked about it on Todd's show 2 nights ago. That is what Yeshua has given back to us, that we can now claim it in that sovereignty within ourselves. So not denying our love at all, and but to radiate the love and to live from that love. As in, is it funny? Mama Love is here, you know.
And Demetrius, you're never late. You're always here with us in spirit. Susie, thank you for joining us as well. Thank you for all of you that have been here. Thank you, Anne. Thank you all, Lisa. Thank you,
Maria.
Maria. Thank you for all the beings that have come forth and allowed yourself to share. Thank you, Doreen. Thank you, Farah. Thank you, Maria. Thank you, David. Thank you all, Sanya, and all beings that came forth to hear us and to bring forth.
We're just so grateful for all we shared. Again, we're in it together.
Thank you, Tara.
If this supported you today,
thank you, Tanya. Thank you, Tanya.
Please go ahead and reshare. The video is going to be available right away. Go ahead and share it, because it is in the giving that you're expanding the energies. And also for those of you that are collaborating with us and seeing where we're going to be, just to quick making announcement, we're going to be coming to South Carolina end of April. Thank you so much, Tanya, our beloved Tanya that is here. She's going to be hosting us at Bluffton, South Carolina, where I'm bringing the divine, I'm bringing the light language code and transmissions in the group setting. And Michael is going to be offering the Archangel Michael transformational healing that weekend. It is the end of April there. Then the month of May, I'm taking off so I can finally paint. This is the act of self-love. I can paint these 12 canvases with the living language of light and also the sacred geometry that I'm asked to bring down. So I'm going to sort of be in a more inward state. I'll be communicating, but that's the space I'm going to be.
Bluffton,
South Carolina. It is on the Facebook page. We're also going to be having on our April 14th, we have our Sacred Sunday spiritual service with our sacred brother Raymond Holmes. Again, it's going to be also live stream. All of you can watch it regarding, it's free, the message from divine that we're collaborating, bringing.
On April 20th, I'll be celebrating a beautiful workshop called Embracing Your Divine Power in Virginia.
Yeah, at Rise
Wellbeing. Thank you, Marcia. Thank you, Lisa, for opening those doors.
And, I'm so excited. This would be Michael's solo sacred teachings. I'm just so excited that he'll be bringing his gift over to that. And if you're in Northern Virginia on April 6th, I have the light language education, divine light language transmission activation in Manassas at Rising Phoenix. It's pretty maxed out. Not we're just about maxed out at 30 people, but if there are a couple of rooms available, if anybody feels called. In June, we're going to return back to Smithtown,
Long Island.
Thank you so much, Conchetta, Joe, and the family that hosted. This will be our 5th or 6th return.
Yeah, looking forward to
for the
seeing you,
community
Lisa.
there.
Thank you.
Yes, so very much. And we are again having the light code transmission activation as well as Archangel Michael transformation and healing. And the reason why is that because we're bringing these frequencies in to really help support the community. So this expansion of the diamond codes of light is supporting those of us who are coming into its frequency and its sustainability of this crystalline diamond frequency. And then in July 13th, we will be finally in Toronto. Thank you so much, Maida, for hosting us. We have our event then again with the Lyco transmission activation as well as Archangel Michael transformation and healing. So we're looking forward to being there to those that call and we get to collaborate with.
And for
and
all
we're
those,
so excited to meet you in person too.
And for all those that are watching this, for all those that are around the world, around this country, always knowing we're here to expand our services, our light. So these are some areas that are coming up, but we're also very welcome for centers, for communities, for areas that could feel the resonance to this energy work. We look forward to collaborating with you into the future because we're always here to see how these temples of light can fully be expanded to the highest level possible.
And thank you so much. I will definitely post the events also on the YouTube page here. So for those of you who are not on Facebook. And thank you so much. Michael and I are both available as Ascension Guide. We're one Skype video away, hour and a half we get in, we help support. Don't think you have to go through everything alone. Yes, there's a part that you have to do things on your own, but seek out help. Don't be dependent on other, but seek out help that you need to. Go get a deep tissue massage when the body is going through all of these transmissions, and seek out a short little, assistance when you need it. So don't deny yourself of the help that you need. And the help is always around.
And Ellie, if you also want to post your email address on YouTube, we can also send you a whole listing as well, not just on YouTube, but if you would like to, for those that are not on Facebook, post your email address, and we can also send you an updated calendar for where we're going as well.
Yeah. So much love to each of you. We're getting ready for the 4/4. That's a big one coming out. Tomorrow is the last of this StarGate 9 completion, complete whatever you need to do. We're going to the resurrection flame. We're going into the 4/4, and we have a lot coming up around May to get us ready for the summer solstice. So it's amazing time, and we are in it together. That's the most beautiful part.
Thank you, Mom, for coming here.
And we're so happy for
Mom to come in here in our live broadcast. She's the official first person that's come into our tea time. That's allowed you to see what it's all about. For someone that doesn't have Facebook, that's very, ancient in technology, she now gets to experience the ending of her first tea time.
We're so grateful. Again, we were speaking of that mother energy, and the mother energy is very beautiful and supportive. So we love that very much. So love you all so much. Aho namaste and lakesh banur ish hash hash. And let us just wrap it up with a prayer. Dear Holy Alliance, dear Mother, Father, God, dear source of all light and illumination, continue to support us in our particles of light, deep in our deep truth, deep in our essence. Allow us to rise in our resurrection flame, in our diamond frequency, in that beautiful immortality in which we come from, recognizing this human experience as a temporary experience in which we're bringing the divine into it, giving us the courage to face all of our limitations, all of our impurities, and giving us truly the gift of expanding the human experience in our ascended state and that which ascension is. Through the path of love, through the path of passion, through the path of compassion, through the path of understanding, through the path of surrendered stillness, through the path of love, we're able to together ascend as one. Thank you so much, everyone. So much love to all of you. Have a magic-filled day, and we'll see you very soon.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you, Mom.
Yay! Oh, that was the best.